Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be shopping my stash. I know I've been trying a ton of new makeup lately and I kind of just wanted to revisit my collection, maybe pull out items that I haven't been using in a while. So let's just go ahead and get started. This first drawer is where I keep most of my more colorful palettes. I haven't actually used my Juvier's Place palettes in quite a while, so I might pick out one of these. This is the Saharan palette. This one is so pretty. And then here is the Masquerade Mini. I love this one. I've never actually played with this top row. So far, this is going to be my palette. If I find a different palette that I like more, I'll probably just either switch it out or maybe use both of them. Ooh, the Through My Eyes palette. This is the iluvsarahii Colourpop palette. I might grab this one instead. I haven't actually used this shade, Emerald Dream. I just am really drawn to this one. I mean, even the packaging is stunning. So yeah, I'm gonna grab this one instead. I'm definitely gonna take my Smashbox Photofinish Primerizer. I have been struggling with a lot of dryness or just like dry patches. I think I wanna try this foundation sample. This is the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation in the shade 330. Yeah, 330 Bamboo. I don't know why I've been so scared to try new foundations lately. I think just because my skin is more on the sensitive side. But you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna test this out. And I might end up going with the McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Sublime Concealer. I know I tried this in my Sephora VIB Spring haul, but I only used it one other time after I filmed that video. And I still don't really like it on my skin. I feel like it's just a little too drying. I want to give this another try, see if it works for me today. I did moisturize my skin really well, so hopefully this works. Okay, for my setting powder, I kind of want to go with the Halo Glow from E.L.F. I really like this powder, so I do want to use it again. I'm going to take my Brow Ultra Slim Pencil from Maybelline. I'm also going to take my Essence Make Me Brow. And then here I keep all of my highlighters. I think I'm going to pick the Catrice x Eman Lit Highlighter Palette. These highlighters are so intense, and I do like mixing a couple of shades at a time, so yeah, I think this one. So I'm definitely going to pick out the Fenty Cream Bronzer in the shade Macchiato. I did test this one out along with the cream blushes in that first impressions video, but I really want to use it again. And then as for the cream blushes, in that video, I know I was a little unsure about the shades that I picked out, but I did try these one more time after filming that video and I like them even more now. I'm not sure which one I'm going to end up using, so I'm just going to take both. And then for my mascara, I've really been liking the Essence Lash Princess Mascara. I think for lips, I'm just gonna wait until the end because I have no idea what kind of look I'm going for. I am probably gonna keep both the Through My Eyes palette and the Mini Masquerade palette just in case I change my mind while I'm doing my makeup. So this is everything that I picked out. I just went ahead and primed my lids with the E.L.F. Putty Eye Primer in the shade Cream. This has been my go-to for a while now. For eyeshadow, I know I picked out two palettes, but I'm thinking I'm just gonna stick with the iluvsarahii Colourpop Through My Eyes palette. I just am really drawn to that Emerald Dream shade. This one right here. So I'm gonna start by taking the shade Wild Soul. I'm gonna take that shade on the Morphe JH32 brush. So I'm going to start applying this right into the crease. I think I applied way more on this eye, so I'm going to try to even that out. Next, I'm taking the shade Canela, and this one is kind of like a sequin type of shade, kind of like the ones from the Tati Beauty palette. It's a matte shade, but it does have some shimmer in there. So I'm gonna apply this starting on the outer corners of the eyes. And you know what? I'm gonna mix in a little bit of Euphoric into that shade. So I'm just gonna dip back and forth between Canela and Euphoric. This is a brand new E25 brush. I did have another one already, but I traveled with it a few years ago and the bristles kind of frayed out. I think it was just the way that I stored them. And no matter how many times I washed that brush, it just wouldn't go back to normal. So I finally decided to purchase another one, and it does feel a little bit different. It's not quite as fluffy as my original E25, but it is blending the eyeshadow really easily, so I don't think it makes much of a difference. Okay, I wasn't trying to go for such an orangey outer corner, so this time I'm just gonna dip into Canela and just go right over top of that. Yeah, you pretty much lose all of the glitter in that shade, so once you start blending it, it does turn into a matte eyeshadow. And then I'm going to take that Morphe JH32 brush and just blend those two shades together. I don't know how this is going to look, but I think I'm going to take the shade Moody, which is this matte teal shade, and I'm going to apply that right to the outer corners. I'm going to take a Morphe JH33 brush, and I'm going to apply that right over top of that orangey shade. Ooh, that shade is looking really patchy. It's almost looking black, or like a charcoal color. Probably because I applied it over an orangey shade, so that's probably my fault. It's applying a little bit better on this side, but I did go in with more of that shade. Yeah, that's not looking like the color I was expecting, but I'm gonna try to make it work. I guess I'll take that Sigma E25 brush and just blend around the edges. So next I'm gonna take the shade Emerald Dream, and I'm gonna apply that all over the lid, probably with my finger first. Yeah, no. I don't know. I'm gonna take Emerald Dream on my finger, and then if I feel like it's not pigmented enough, I'll just go over it with a brush. Yeah. That is such a beautiful shade. I don't think I've ever worn anything like this because I'm always going for bronzy, neutral looks. I'm going to apply a tiny bit more of Moody, and I'm going to start applying a little more on the outer corners. Okay, and then I'm going to lightly blend around the edges of that metallic shade. I'm going to take that Sigma E25 brush. So I'm going to try to apply a little more of that Emerald Dream shade, but this time I'm going to wet my brush. I just want to see if I can get it to look more intense. And I'm going to take that on my Dominique Cosmetics DS05, the pigment brush. And I'm just wetting my brush with the Ofra Makeup Fixer. That did intensify it. I'm not loving the way that dark matte teal shade is looking. Is it teal or is it turquoise? I don't even know. Yeah, I'm not loving the way that shade looks. It just looks kind of patchy, so not my favorite shade in that palette, but yeah, everything else I'm really liking. Definitely not my best eye look that I've ever done. I probably need more practice doing more colorful eye looks. So I'm going to move on to my skin now, and I'm going to take my Smashbox Photofinish Primerizer. This is just my favorite moisturizing primer. And I'm going to apply an extra amount of that primer underneath my eyes since I am going to be using that Pat McGrath concealer, and it was just too drying for me the 2 times that I tried it. For foundation, I'm taking the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation. So here is the foundation on my palette. This is the shade 330 Bamboo. And I think on the Sephora website, this shade is described as a medium with golden undertone. So hopefully this matches me. I'm gonna try one half of my face with a brush and then the other with a sponge. So I'm gonna take this on my Real Techniques foundation brush and I'm gonna apply it to my right side. I'm pretty sure it was Tati that raves about this foundation. I think she did a first impressions on it, and I have been meaning to try it for a while, but I just am scared to try new foundations lately since my skin is so reactive and sensitive. So it's just kind of been sitting in my collection for a few months now. So far, I am not liking this. With a brush, it just looks so textured around this area. I don't know if you can tell on camera. Oh no. Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to go wet one of my sponges. I just forgot to do that before sitting down to film this video, so I will be right back. Okay, I have my E.L.F. sponge. Yeah, I'm not liking this foundation so far. Okay, I'm gonna zoom you in a little more. Hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. This whole area right here looks so cakey and heavy. Even after going over it with my sponge, it's just not looking very good. Okay, for my left side, I'm just gonna go in straight with a sponge. Maybe not the best match, but I think I can make it work. I definitely got more coverage on the brush side, but I don't like the way it's sitting on my skin. Yeah, that is not looking good on either side. It's just emphasizing every little bit of texture and flakiness that I have on my skin right now. It's just not a good foundation day, unfortunately. Now I'm really nervous to apply the Pat McGrath concealer, considering that this foundation is already so drying and cakey, and the Pat McGrath concealer is also too dry on me, so I'm scared to try this over top of it. Okay, I'm gonna go for it anyway. This is the shade LM8. It does have quite a bit of coverage. Okay, I'm definitely liking this concealer way more than the first 2 times that I tried it. I think it's because I did moisturize a lot more this time, so it is sitting really nicely underneath my eyes and even in between my brows. I do have quite a bit of flakiness and just like dehydration there, so it is looking really good, but this foundation is just looking like a hot mess. I do not like it one bit. So moving on to the Fenty cream bronzer. I love this bronzer. I just couldn't wait to use it again. It's just perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. And I'm gonna be applying that with this Real Techniques stipple brush. I really like that this bronzer is sheer if you want it to be, but you can also build it up. And I like that it's not sticky or greasy or anything. Okay, for blush, I know I have 2 of the Fenty Beauty cream blushes, but I think for this look, I'm gonna go with Rose Latte. Yeah, I'm gonna take this one. I'm gonna take that on my E.L.F. 105 brush. I'm gonna try to go lightly because this shade is a little too deep for me. And then I'm gonna go over that with my sponge because I do want to tone it down just a little bit. Yeah, I feel like with this blush formula, I do prefer applying it with a brush first and then just tapping over it with my sponge. Okay, so I ended up doing my brows off camera. I did end up using the Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim Pencil in the shade Blackest Brown. And then to set my brows in place, I took the Essence Make Me Brow in the shade Brownie Brows. I decided I am gonna go in with a little bit of powder just because my under eyes feel a little bit tacky. And I did get a little bit of transfer as well. So I'm gonna take some of the E.L.F. Halo Glow setting powder. This one I do really like because it's not completely matte. It does give a subtle glow to the skin, but it does set my makeup nicely. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this. So I'm focusing this mainly underneath my eyes and then just taking a little bit where I tend to crease, like around my smile lines. I'm going to finish up the lower lash line, so I'm going to take the shade Wild Soul and run that along the lower lash line with a pencil brush. Next, I'm taking the shade Moody, and I'm going to focus that more on the outer portion of the lower lash line, and I'm taking that on this dual-ended Dose of Colors brush. And I always like to bring it up onto the outer corner of the lid, just to connect it. And I'm gonna take that pencil brush and just blend that out. And then using that same brush, I'm taking the shade Emerald Dream. I'm gonna apply that towards the inner portion of the lower lash line, but I am gonna wet my brush. So I'm going to apply it right here and just connect it into the matte shade. And then for the inner corners, I'm taking the shade Lucido, and I'm going to apply that with the Morphe E18 brush. And then before I go in with highlighter, I am going to mist my face with the Ofra Makeup Fixer Spray. So I went ahead and applied 2 coats of my Essence Lash Princess Mascara, which I've really been enjoying lately. I love how much length this gives, but it does also give a ton of volume. So I went in with 2 coats of that. And then just to add a little something to the waterline, I took the NYX Slide On Glide On eye pencil in the shade Tropical Green, and I just lined my lower waterline with that. I'm going to take this Catrice x Eman Lit Highlighter Palette, which I haven't used in quite a while. I did do a review on the entire Catrice x Eman collection. I just really love this highlighter formula. It is super intense. I'm going to mix Surrey and Victoria. So I'm going to dip back and forth. And you know what? I'm going to mix a little bit of Whistler with those other 2 shades. And I'm going to take the shade Whistler and apply that to my inner corners. And then I'm going to take a little bit of Surrey. It was looking a little too gold for what I was going for, so I took some more of the shade Lucido and just went right over top of that. I went ahead and looked through my lipstick collection and I couldn't really find anything that would go with this look, so I decided to just go with a gloss. I'm going to take the Milani Ludicrous Lip Gloss in the shade She's All That. This is a really pretty peachy gloss and it has some shimmer in there. My lips are super dry as well, so a lip gloss is definitely the best choice right now. All right, you guys, so that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this Shop My Stash. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to see more of my videos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.